Hi, everybody. Yes, we are live on this Wednesday. Happy Hump Day, everybody. Hey, Myra J. Hey, Stephen Hill.
Hello. What's up, party people?
How are
In the place
you?
to be.
Okay. How you doing?
Me?
Yes,
yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm good. I changed my diet. I changed my exercise regimen this week. Nothing big. I'm craving sugar. Can't have any. That's how it goes.
Oh, so you're on the big starvation diet then.
Here's the thing. I have no problem saying this. I turned 60 in October.
Mm-hmm.
So October. And I appreciate it. Thank you. And I've got big plans for that. So I got to start getting in shape right now. So I'm going to use this. Y'all, I need y'all help me, keep me honest with my stuff all the way through. I got to be working out at least 3 times a week.
You need 5 months because you look to be in great shape right now.
You don't know what I have planned for October. What I have planned for October.
All right.
I'm expecting you to be there, but what I have planned for October is kind of like it's a thing. It's a whole thing.
Wow, it's a whole thing.
Jaws will be dropped. Jaws will be dropped.
Did he say Jaws?
Jaws.
Oh, not Jaws.
Not Jaws.
Oh, okay.
Not Jaws.
Okay.
However,
that's for the after party.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Maybe after, and then the after party.
Because I heard.
Okay.
So I'm getting in shape. All right. Yes.
And Myra J you've educated me on what you need to do. So now 5 months, and Myra J educated me yesterday on a term that I was unfamiliar with. I thought it was just people who did hair. Myra J went to the loctician, or she was looking to go to her loctician, and her loctician wasn't available, but she went to someone else who also has a loctician on her staff. A loctician is a thing.
Yeah. Is that a person that teaches you how to dance like Rerun from What's Happening?
No, that would be a rerun.
That's a loctician?
That's a rerun. No. A loctician is someone who specializes in doing locks. Just like your beautician.
Like a burglar?
You have a loctician. Yeah, that's what you want to come to your house when your hair is sticking up all over your head. Give me a burglar. I need someone to break in and do my hair.
Is that what it is, really?
It's a lock.
Okay. Yes. I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
A loctician.
I'd like to see her business card, but yeah, that's what it's called. It's called a loctician.
A loctician, yes, ma'am. Yes.
That's why I go to Vegas to people who work on dictation. I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, what?
Roderick Cooks is suggesting on YouTube that Myra J needs to get her some. I don't know, perhaps because he said Jaws would be dropped and you thought it was going to be.
That's what, there we are. That's what it is.
Or maybe Roderick is offering.
Well, probably, but the most important thing is that Myra got to get her hair done and go to her loctician
before she can get some.
Thank you. This is not gettable right now.
Okay. It looks pretty. Looks pretty gettable from here. I'm just saying.
If this scarf comes off, it's like, whoa. You need a loctician.
Well, you guys are both on the East Coast, and I'm wondering if you have felt the effects. Stephen Hill, I know you were driving this weekend, so I don't know if you felt the effects of the Colonial Pipeline shutdown. Myra, Steve?
No, because when the alert came on my phone 5 days ago that there was a hack, before it was even a news story, I wonder if this is going to affect gas. And I pulled right into a gas station and it filled up. So I haven't even looked at a gas station. But you did hear the breaking news that it's back now?
Yeah, that was the next part. That as of 5 o'clock Eastern time, they were resuming a restart button. So I guess it's a process over the thousands of miles of pipeline. And so, wow, that's a lot of pipe you're laying there, fella.
Yeah,
and so
people were buying gas like the toilet. These are the same people who still got toilet paper.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I don't remember. I remember the gas wars back in the 70s, but I don't remember, because I wasn't behind the wheel of a car and had to pay for gas. But I do remember like having, the odd days, even days, that kind of thing. And I remember seeing the long lines, right?
It was
72, 73. Yep.
Yeah. It was crazy in California because I was a single parent. I used to have to come home from work, park my car at the gas station like at 3 in the afternoon. The gas station is already shut down because they have no gas for the day. But my odd day was the next day. So then I would take my son, carry him, walk like the 3 blocks at 3:30 in the morning to the gas station to be in line for when the gas station opened up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was a thing. It was.
Yeah.
It was a thing. It was a thing. And I just remember the just the lines of cars and things like that. But I don't remember, obviously being this intense when people are they're having to warn people, don't put the gasoline in plastic bags.
Yeah, they don't. Look. Well, being in this is one of those great things about being in New York is like cars. Who cares? Like who cares?
Right.
Until the subways run on gas, then
And the taxis and the Ubers and the Lyfts and everything else. But did you see any changes along the road this weekend when you were driving, Steve?
Not so. I didn't realize why the prices were so high. I didn't because I'd been out of the news. I didn't realize it was the pipeline. But I have a problem with like there's no like simple valve on a pipeline. Like it's I get how you manage it electronically, but if the electronics go down, it takes you 5 days to turn the off valve or on valve.
Well, not just that, but because of the hacking that was involved, they did not have an alternative as they were trying to get their system back up and running because of the hackers, the Dark Star people who were holding all of the information hostage. Wow. And so now that they have that straight and then restarting after the hack, they say that the supply chain will not return to normal for a few days. So those people who are in line like Myra, parking their cars and then going back, perhaps things will be like that for them. Let's see what we have here. Shirley Ann, Tony Davis on Facebook says, was the ransom paid? That's the question everybody is asking. Was the ransom paid? Because these people were holding them hostage and saying that they weren't going to resume this until the ransom was paid. But they're keeping that rather close to the pump, I guess. And in announcing this, they expect some good news from the company regarding the hostage situation and the ransom very quickly. But as I said, as of 5 o'clock this afternoon Eastern time, they were to have pushed the button, and they were going to be starting the stretch of 5,500 miles worth of pipeline that carries nearly half of the East Coast fuel supply. How big was this hoarding situation, or how bad was it? Price gouging was getting out of control. They say that fears of the shortage sent the gas prices skyrocketing. Even where we are in Dallas-Fort Worth, the prices are going up. I think, did you say, Yolanda, you paid $3 a gallon for your car? Did you pay for gas $3 a gallon? $3.60. Okay. AAA reported the average gas prices rose 7 cents this week. Who is AAA asking this? Because somebody's lying. Some of the stations in southeastern states may have turned to price gouging. One person in Virginia said she paid $7 a gallon. $7 a gallon. She said, I had half a tank of gas, so when it got to 25, I started to look and see what was going on. And she said, after I got to 30, I was like, oh my gosh. And then she looked at the prices, and where, some of the stations where it says out, or, we have this said $6.99.99.
Yeah.
I didn't have that much of a problem, mostly because remember I got that vaccine before everybody else did from Pookie, like around the corner. Pookie, and I was like, I don't think they come in tablets, and evidently it didn't work out. Same dude. Pookie was like, yo, got that gas. I'm like, oh, okay, right. It's right here. And I was like, well, it looks like it's orange in an orange juice container. Are you sure that's gas? Like, yo, got that gas, man. It's all this $3.99 a gallon. And so I put it in my car, and for some reason it didn't start. So if a guy I don't really understand why.
But it does have a nice citrus smell to it.
Oh, very nice. Oh, no.
Okay, so I was Zelda on Facebook said, "Oh my gosh, that video with the lady putting gas in the plastic bag done it in for me." And he said, "Well, I was like, what, huh? Good grief, no. Well, I was saving this for our trending video, but this is I wanted to get to the story first because I think it is most important of all of the things we're going to be talking about today, and have a greater import to the people who are out there. But this is the Mofo video of the day, and this is what people were doing in line. Here is a case of a woman who was trying to butt into line of the long line of cars. And this is the result of what happened. This is right outside of Raleigh, North Carolina.
These niggas wildin'. Your buddy in the Honda tried to cut. Like, the fuck is you doing, bro? Wow, yo, she spit on this nigga. Oh, shit. Yo. Buddy kicked her shit into the street.
He kicked us up into the street.
Started with spitting and then grabbing and tossing.
Yeah.
She spit at him, he spit at her, and this is the fight that broke out. And I saw it before, but in this clip, and it wasn't on my browser. So is this the guy who shot this just happened to be in line? And did you hear his play-by-play?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
yeah.
In all of its colorful language. In all of its colorful language.
Right. The original Instagram poster said both parties were arrested. However, the local news says that the Durham Police Department had no reports of fights at the gas pumps. They said that they're keeping people up to date about all of this. But North Carolina was the hardest hit area, with nearly 30% of the stations without gas. That's crazy.
Really?
That is absolutely crazy. Ross said, "I don't condone a man hitting a woman, but she deserves that butt kicking for spitting on him."
Let me tell you something.
She hit his car and then spit.
Spitting breaks all the rules.
Yeah.
Once you spit, that's like having a gun. I feel like assault with a deadly weapon, straight up. Like
that's not
pull out
high quality.
Yeah.
High quality.
I'm like, oh, we spitting now? Hold on just a second. Let me go back in my car for a second. Okay.
Yolanda and I have been going back down memory lane about a lot of our adventures and stuff, and I forgot about this, Yolanda, when I got spat upon. In Italy.
On purpose?
We were in Italy, and Stephen Hill, you know this. You know my love of doors. So I was taking a picture of a doorway, and this doorway was inhabited by a homeless person. And so she got mad because I was infringing upon her space, even though she wasn't in the door. I wasn't taking her picture. I was just taking the door. And she rushed up on me and saw me taking the picture of her home, and she spit on me. And Yolanda was like, "Let's go." and she obviously had issues, but
she would have had issues and spit. She would have had issues and spit in English and in Italian. I would have spit on her in both languages.
Myra's the kind of like, let me go back to my car. She's not going to get the gun. She's going to get the gallon of spit that she's acquired over the years. There's a gallon of spit sitting in her trunk. Wait. Yeah. Watch this.
Really? Okay.
And then there's
Right.
just for good measure.
Right.
Don't forget that head cold I had in 2005.
Okay. Cough you up a boutonniere.
Some of it's yellow, player. Some of it's yellow. Oh, too far. That was the one too far. That was the one you went too far.
That was no. She went too far, and then you just So speaking of getting a kick in the butt and the spit and the push and the pull, all of this happened on Capitol Hill over the last week or so regarding Liz Cheney, the congresswoman from Wyoming. She's been kicked to the curb from her position, not as congresswoman, but as the chair of the House Republican Conference. It finally happened this morning. A secret vote. They didn't even have the you-know-whats to have it out in the open and let people know who was for her and who was against her. She's been stripped of her leadership post. They said her public sparring with Donald Trump became a distraction to the party, hoping to regain the House in 2022. So it wasn't so much about what she said and all of this about Donald Trump, but they did say that she was ruining their chances of regaining the House. In other words, she was ruining Kevin McCarthy's chances to become Speaker of the House. And he's been very, very open, even with the hot mic, and saying that she's got to go and things like that happened over the week. She told told reporters both last night and today in no uncertain terms, she is committing to opposing Donald Trump and hoping and will work to make sure he never gets near the White House again.
And good for her. I probably don't agree with Liz Cheney on her politics,
anything,
on policies or anything, but I do have to say, respect, chick, for standing up and not wavering one little bit, standing on her principles. So,
yeah, I agree.
You go, girl. Yeah.
Stephen Hill, do you have any? I was thinking about her a lot because when we went to Wyoming, we were like the only Black people there.
We were indeed. We
went there for the eclipse, and but just in terms of her and her positioning, what do you think?
I can't believe hey, Stephen, you know what? In 2021, you were going to be cheering for a Cheney. I'll be like, get out of here and shoot me with a rifle.
Right.
Get out of here and shoot me with a rifle. However, no, look, I'm not shout out to Pops. Shout out to Pops.
Yeah, right.
But here's the thing. Look, this just establishes who the Republicans are paying fealty to and will continue to through 22. They realize they have no other Republican that they can get behind besides Donald Trump in the next 2 years. Now, in 4 years, it may be a little different, but right now they realize they can't rebuild this ship in time. And so while some of them quietly will admit, okay, yeah, the election was fine, you can't have someone loudly out there going against the person that could give you the majority in 22. Because he doesn't have Twitter now, he doesn't have Facebook. He's going to get something where he can talk to the masses. Mm-hmm. And so Trump still runs the Republican Party, and he turned off my light.
He'll never dim your lights.
I know, trying to steal your shine.
Your lights.
Don't let him steal your shine.
In the Republican effort to continue gaslighting the country, Kevin McCarthy came out of the White House, where there is a different person in that office right now, and said today that Republicans are not questioning the legitimacy of the 2020 election. Then what the hell was that all about?
Roll the tape.
You know what?
Roll the tape.
I know.
Roll the tape. Well, okay. Roll the tape. Kevin McCarthy said this. He said this. He went down to visit. Look,
his lips should look
whatever it
like
takes
a
to get
pretzel.
elected. Whatever it takes to be elected. Whatever it takes to get elected.
Right.
He twists his mouth to just say anything.
1,000 ways from Sunday. Yeah. This is a strange story. Out of Tampa, Florida. This is going to be our last for the topical news. Dunkin' employee, because they don't call themselves donuts anymore, it's Dunkin'. An employee faces a manslaughter charge after punching a customer who then fell, hit his head, and later died. The single punch led to the arrest of 27-year-old Corey Pujols, who was thrown May 4th at the Dunkin' store in a Marathon gas station in Tampa. According to the arrest report, he said the man called him a racial slur, who is a regular customer. And they said the 77-year-old man repeated the slur. The 27-year-old man pushed him. The man fell back, hit his head, and subsequently died. Do we have a picture of Mr. Pujols? Yes, he is.
Do we want one?
Yeah, this is his booking photo.
Okay.
This is a sad situation in which, instead of taking a beat and a breath, this young man reacted immediately and pushed this man. And according to the local laws, there is something that says that if you do bodily injury to someone over the age of 65, it's a first-degree felony, punishable up to 30 years in prison.
Where's this?
This is in Florida. Yeah, it's.
Oh, it's in Florida. Oh wait, if you just push somebody who's over 65,
aggravated manslaughter of a person older than 65. It's a first-degree felony, punishable up to 30 years in prison.
Regardless of what the person over 65 is doing?
Well, I guess so. But, and this is just me, but being called the N-word or whatever, and they didn't even indicate what the word was, but being called that's not worth pushing and even a 77-year-old man. I'm sorry. That just...
Would you spit on him? Just one hot tui. That's all you need. A hot tui. Yeah.
And you know, that might have pushed him over. I don't know the force with which this young man could throw a slob, but you know, it's just like it's a very sad situation. And you know what? And once again, this is what I tell young people all the time: just take a beat. Just take, you know, and people don't even like the Will Smith movie. I think it was called After Earth that he did with his son. And he said, take a knee. And this was before all of the Kaepernick stuff, obviously. But he said, take a knee and just collect yourself. And that is something we all need to learn.
It is so two things. One, evidently, I guess Trayvon Martin was too young. If he'd been a little older, maybe Zimmerman would have gone down.
Okay.
One. Number two, it's just tough. It's tough. I'm all about this frontal cortex closing, right? I'm all about the age of 25 is when you make these decisions. And to your point, when you're able to say, okay, I'm going to take a beat. Taking a beat before the age of 25 or before your frontal cortex closing, you can understand all the different things that can happen from your actions is just, it's an unfortunate thing to do. And as someone who's trying to raise a 16-year-old whose frontal cortex seems to be opening more than closing every single freaking day. Right. It's just it's sad, but it's another example of, like, to your point, take a beat and understand that your actions, whether you intend them or not, are going to have reactions. You have no control over the reaction. Right. You only have control over the action.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. It's just, Myra, you what do you think?
Yeah, you're right, but I probably would have done something.
That's why your quiet response to all of this prompted me to ask you.
Yeah, because I don't want to put it out there just in case at some point I may have to do what I'm thinking, and then they'll have it on tape. So I'm taking the fifth.
Myra, may I just ask if you're over the age of 25, as Steve has said? Because that kind of reaction to me indicates a youthfulness that I did not know about.
Well, no, I really do now. I've gotten better. I try to use, common sense and basically say, is it worth it? Mm-hmm. However, I know myself well enough to go, somewhere it ain't no cameras.
Not these days.
Don't let me catch you where it ain't no camera.
Yeah,
Okay?
that place doesn't exist. That place does not exist.
Not in 2021, I'm afraid, Myra. So we're just gonna keep you. You will have some with you at all times.
Keep me in prayer.
Yeah.
That's what my family tell me. We just keep you in prayer, baby.
That's probably the best zip code for you to live in.
Prayer. That's his zip code, madam?
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes, it is. Yes,
absolutely. It is. All right, so now it's time to hit the headlines of what you need to know. My concern this week has been over Kristen Clarke. She is the African American attorney who has been nominated to head the Civil Rights Department of the Department of Justice. And they have just been pussyfooting around, if I may use that term, regarding her nomination and why her nomination has not even been moved out of committee yet. They have not voted on her nomination, and keeping an eye on that. And it seems to be Republicans, especially, who have problems with women of color. She is another woman, not all of them, as they've gone through the various committees and these appointments that the president has made or the nominations he's made. But Kristen Clarke is another Black woman whose nomination has been slow rolled, and primarily by the Republicans. And I mean, they are putting a real hit on her in terms of what they don't like about her and the lies that they're spreading. For instance, the Fox News guy, what's that guy? You know him.
Tucker?
Tucker Carlson, thank you. Has dedicated several segments of his show to misrepresent Kristen Clarke, even going so far as to claim she hates white people. Well, she's been called anti-Semitic, to which the man who is going to be her boss, the Attorney General, Merrick Garland, who is Jewish, had to come back and say, no, she ain't. And I know anti-Semites, okay? Even the New York Times wrote a piece about Tucker Carlson saying why Tucker Carlson hates Kristen Clarke. Mike Lee of Utah attempted to paint her as the anti-Semite, and that is where the Attorney General came back and said, no, she's not. They have gone at her every which way, and she has stood tall, she stood strong, and her credentials speak for themselves, and all the work that she has done on behalf of civil rights, and that's what seems to get them the most. They don't want this Black woman who has shown a history of standing up for people, for Black people, for Indian people, for American Indian, for all, you name it, people of color. She stood tall for those with disabilities, and a woman who is raising a 16-year-old Black boy. So she knows all the things that are going on, and she has done it so beautifully. And they are trying her. Hopefully her nomination will go to a vote, get it out of committee, and then go to the full Senate, where she's going to squeak by, apparently, simply because of the way the Senate is made up. But it bears pointing out what the Republicans are doing and trying to prevent really good people. And this is the thing, she doesn't have to do this. She can really go out and make a great living, but she's doing this because of her love of her country and wanting to help people.
Are you surprised, Sybil? I mean,
nothing
you have said has surprised me at all.
It just
like
it
today
makes
is
me
Wednesday.
Yeah. Okay. So what do you call this?
This just in. Water is wet and sugar is sweet.
Shut up! Since when?
Water wet, sugar is sweet. White folks don't want Black folks to get ahead. Oh my God, it's all right here. Who knew?
Look, it's all right there.
It is. Two things. One, to the whole they don't want civil rights to exist. Full stop. They'll do everything they can slow roll. Anything that can stop that in its tracks or slow roll, they're going to do it. But again, this is also a bigger part of how this political game has become so polarized. All of this they're individual examples, but it all rolls up to you're either with us or you're against us. There's no United States. We are United States in name only. We are determined. And thank you, Fox News and CNN and MSNBC is all part of it, being partisan and not showing both sides. Everything is leading towards polarization in this country. And this is part of it. It's just a shame.
This is a really good example of it. Yeah, you're absolutely right. The United Polarized States, or not even united. They're
but that would be you can't call it that because the UPS be like, oh, you took our name. You can't be red, white, and blue. We got to be brown and yellow.
And you don't want to know what brown has done for you. No. So, Stephen Hill, we are talking about coronavirus, and as of today, young people between the ages of 12 and 15. This doesn't deal with young Ward anymore. He's 16. But 12 and 15 young people, the adolescents, as of today, are getting their shots if their parents want them to have. And are you all hearing any conversation by parents both for and against?
My nephew's got 2 shots, no clots. My nephew was all the way in. So
Nice.
Faithful Ward. There's some belief issues in members of the family that are so we're dealing with that. Michael Stallworth, Wolf Blitzer does not play both sides. Don't fool yourself. You don't know both.
Yeah.
Chuck Todd, I'll give you Chuck Todd to a point, but Wolf Blitzer.
And Chuck Todd is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all about the adjectives, player. It's all about the adjectives.
I would like to agree with you, Michael, but I'm with Stephen Hill because Wolf Blitzer, early on, he was a more balanced reporter or anchor, but now not so much.
Please understand that all this balance this is all a business. Once news started taking, I'll stop, I promise. Once news started taking advertisement, news went out the door, right? Chet Huntley and Brinkley and all that stuff. It's kind of like the last time you had like news just to report, right? Yeah. Fox tried to show where you just report the news. And it failed miserably. Why? Because it's better because if you want to, because people want to hear their side and believe that they're right. And that's what's going to bring the most advertising dollars in, both to CNN. Well, all three, CNN, MSNBC, and Fox have their own thing where it's not in their financial interest to present balanced opinions to you, my friends, at all.
Yeah, News Nation is trying it now, and it's not working. This is part of the news network. Started as the offshoot of WGN in Chicago, and they tried News Nation, and the numbers are abysmal. For a nationwide network, and they're still trying, but it's very difficult for them. Myra, are you having any conversations with your grands about the shot?
Well, my youngest one is 16, so she
okay,
and she did get it. I do have a friend that has 14-year-olds, and she was like, I'm gonna drag them right on down there to get it. Yeah. I think for parents who are comfortable with it, I really think it's a good thing. And I also think that it's great for the teachers. Our teachers are so underappreciated, and they've been begging for help and everything else. Like, don't have us come back into these schools with and plus kids are going to be kids.
Nasty.
Period. Well, I was trying to take the high road, but yeah, they nasty. Exactly. So I think that this is not only good for the students, but I think that this is great news for teachers as well.
So the Pfizer vaccine, the CDC has said available today. You can get started on this, not just for the emergency use. This wasn't the emergency, rather the emergency authorization. This is it. This is what the CDC says. So you can go and get it. There's still some interesting cases. Have you all seen this? Like, I think it was the New York Yankees reported players that have had both shots and still have gotten the virus.
What?
Yeah.
Wait. You mean the coronavirus?
I'm sorry. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Well,
I hadn't heard about that.
Here's the thing that people need to be very clear about. The shot is not 100%. You can still get it. So don't be just out here all free willy,
Willy-nilly.
willy-nilly, and be mulling around. That was for you, Yolanda. Be out here mulling around because you've had the shot. You can still get it. They just said there's a much smaller chance, and if you do get it, you should not get so sick that you have to be hospitalized.
Right.
So.
And people, they're taking off their mask, and even though members of the medical community are saying if you're outside, you don't necessarily have to wear your mask, but we're saying still wear them, and especially when you go inside to the mall, to the museum, as they say. But I'm not mad at that. I know everybody wants to get rid of the mask. I don't know if I'll ever get rid of my mask.
Well, I just ordered some decorative masks because somebody finally told me, Myra, that blue disposable mask don't go with everything.
Oh, so now you want to get matching for your outfit.
I was very comfortable with it myself because, I'm a one and done. Just grab another one. And they were like, you don't have any masks that match. I'm like, I got this blue one on.
Matches my eyes.
Okay.
There you go.
What's the problem with the blue mask? And they're like, you may want to, just think about getting a few masks. Fine.
From our social justice file, did you hear this story? It's really a really well done story. It's the year was 1885. A 15-year-old black child by the name of Howard Cooper hung from a tree by a mob of white men in Maryland for a rape conviction that an all-white jury arrived at the decision within minutes. 136 years later, the governor of Maryland has signed an order posthumously pardoning Cooper of the crime for which he was denied legal due process against the allegations. And his family who were there, and it was very quite heartwarming to see the governor at the service that honored 34 victims, including 15-year-old Howard Cooper, victims of racial lynching between 1854 and 1933. Now, there's some politics involved with this because people are saying that the governor, Larry Hogan, is looking to run for president in 2024. And so they're saying, he's starting to get his ducks in a row as he prepares for a presidential run. Well, look what I did for you, Black people. Let's not just forget the part about Larry Hogan shuffling his feet and not moving as quickly as he needed to in paying the money and giving money to historically Black colleges in Maryland. Let's not talk about that. But ultimately, the money did go to the schools. But in this case, we're going to clear all of these Black people who were lynched, and don't forget this when it comes time for me to run for president. But it is good nonetheless.
Yeah, it's a good with a.
If you say so.
Yeah.
If you say so, okay.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
All right. I'm much more interested, and call me crazy. Yeah. I am more interested, and I'm in.
Please.
Exonerating those who are currently serving sentences, right? Hey Hogan, I bet you if you spent some energy, you could go inside your Maryland prisons and find some really cases that were tried and convicted on specious arguments, right? Yes. I bet if you really want to do the right thing, go find people who are living. Go find people from this century who were lynched.
Yeah, the 2000s. Yes,
right. Who were lynched just absent a rope. All right, let's try that.
Come on,
let's try that, Hogan.
How about that?
They will be Hogan's heroes. What?
And a shout out to the district attorney in Baltimore, by the way, and she doesn't get enough kudos and a lot of support that she deserves, and that's Marilyn Mosby, who has made a lot of changes in that state regarding the way people are charged and convicted in that city. But you're absolutely right, Stephen Hill. How about that? How about those men and women who are behind bars and exoneration for them? And can we speed up the process in terms of those who are involved in the Innocence Project and give them some help in proving that these men and women are innocent or, exonerated, and then maybe, your state won't be in debt when they sue you because you've have put them in jail wrongfully. The same.
Yeah.
Stephen Hill, it is now time for.
It wasn't me. I didn't do it.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I'm so used to that.
This is the question of the day.
It's not mine. I'm so sorry.
Well, it could be yours. So we know.
It was already there when I found it. I'm so sorry, guys. Okay.
Have you been following the Bennifer 2.0 story?
Okay.
Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck hanging out again after 17 years?
Yes, and I want that to happen so badly. I admit it. I have a personal. So Jennifer came to 106 in Park one day, and Ben Affleck came along. Now, one of my favorite movies of all time is a movie that I can't remember the name of, but it was the second Kevin Smith movie that was about that had Chris Rock in it, and Alanis Morissette played Jesus Christ. And it had Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. I can't think of the name of it, but it's just I just love everything about that movie. And so Jennifer's manager was there, and I said, "Oh, that's cool." And I was telling him, I told him before about that movie. He said, "Well, Ben Affleck, you should go tell him. He would love that." And when I did, I was very corny and geeky as I usually am.
Yeah.
And he could not have been kinder. But seeing them romantic and cool with each other. It wasn't Geely. No, but so in the like off screen and like when they were in the green room, like they were so cool and loving towards each other that like I took a personal like, oh, I want this to work. And then when they broke up, I didn't cry, but I was like, oh, she's dope. I've been able to work with her a number of times, and he seemed dope that time. So I was like, I just want dope people to get together. So when I saw the picture of them together on 2.0, I was like, yeah!
Aww.
Yeah!
And that's more excitement than Matt Damon. He's like, they're good people. I hope they'll get back together.
Did you see him?
Your boy's supposed to do it. That's what your boy is supposed to do. Your boy's supposed to like, oh, I didn't even know. Really?
Right.
They're good people.
He was very. He walked that fine friendship line. Like I'm not gonna say anything to hurt my boy or anything the media can run with. Like
he even disconnected himself in the interview with Hoda on the Today Show. It was like
Dogma. Thank you, Cherry Zan. Thank you. Dogma.
Yeah,
I recommend, if you have not seen the movie, I recommend that movie.
I haven't watched the Kevin Smith movie since Clerks.
Clerks? You've never seen Jay and Silent Bob?
Oh, I forgot about that. You're right. Thank you. Okay, so this is the question of the day. Have you ever thought about or actually reconnected with an ex? And if you have thought about it or you actually did it, what happened?
And this is where I disconnect.
I think we have our highlights for the day.
Matt, take over for me. Matt Damon, come over, take over for me. Matt, come on.
You're on your own, Claire. Myra, since we have a little hesitancy from one of us.
Now, let me clarify. Mm-hmm. Do you mean physically or in a fantasy?
I actually, when I came up with the question, I was thinking physically. Yeah.
No. Okay. No. To be honest, when I think back on my exes, I let it lay where it lays and keep it moving.
Let it just kind of lay there the way it lay.
However it falls, however it flops.
If they just lay there, no wonder they're exes.
Right? No, never.
So I'm going to ask the audience if you have any situations that you would like to share with us, and then perhaps look to. Oh, thank goodness, Renita, not a good experience with that. No,
yeah, because it'll just remind you why they're your ex.
Mm-hmm. Do they always remind you in time? It fell apart a month later, says Frank.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Frank
on YouTube.
Frank.
Yeah.
How dope was that month, though?
Or was it
How dope was that
was it
month?
a dope 2-3 weeks, and then that fourth week it kind of nope. All right, Karen said, I don't go backwards in life. We can be friends, but that will be it.
I find that exes make great friends. We can be great friends, but sex will just mess it up.
Myra, have you ever participated in one of those? Okay, got married. All right, Darren. All right, Darren Watson.
There you go.
On YouTube said got married. Golly. Okay. Myra, I was going to ask you, have you ever participated in one of those events where you bring your ex because you know he's not right for you, but he might be right for somebody else, and you have people to get together? Have you, Stephen? Have you been with one of those?
100%. An ex who was one of my favorite people in the world and one of my best friends. I connected them, and it went well for a while. It didn't stick. But only even the best of situations, only one of your relationships ever sticks. So
you know what? I kind of and maybe this is why I'm single. I hate the setup game. I freaking hate it. So somebody go, I got somebody for you. No, you really didn't.
No, Myra.
No.
Ever.
Never, ever.
So you never set up an ex with one of your friends?
No. And here's the deal. I wouldn't have a problem with it. Oh no, my ex could never date one of my friends. I have no problems with it whatsoever, because when it's over, it's over. Now I will share a little something with you all. That way back in the day when we were young and a little loosey-goosey, a guy who had kind of kicked it with a friend of mine, wasn't nothing serious, and we were partying and doing some things, and he wanted to get busy, and I said, well, hold on, let me call my friend and ask her if she's cool with it. Right. And he said, you gonna do what? I said,
that's the right move. That's the right move. 100% the right move.
She's been my friend longer than we've been friends, and we still gonna be friends when you gone. And trust me, you gonna be gone before the sun come up. So let me call her. And I did. I called her, and she was like, "Have at it." We kicked it, and he was gone before the sun came up. He thought I was playing.
You could not have played that better.
Yeah,
100%.
That's right. Absolutely brilliant.
As we men say, bros before those. Yeah.
Straight up. Look, but the thing was, he was so shocked when I said that I was going to call her that he really thought I was playing. But I'm going, no, we're not going to have no little secret. That's my friend. Period. So,
or as we used to say in high school, best chicks before. Yeah. So now it's time. It is time for our entertainment. And I just want to give a little shout out to my very favorite person in the entertainment business who got nominated and is going into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Can you see?
Oh, Tina. Yes.
Yeah. Tina Turner is going in alone.
The way the shirt went, it kind of looked like Michael Jackson in '72. So,
yeah.
The way the shirt folded. And
I thought it was Leela James. I was I didn't see her name on the list. I didn't know she got Leela James like that.
Tina Turner, Carole King, The Go-Go's, Jay-Z, Foo Fighters, and Todd Rundgren. Hello, it's me. All going into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this summer. And
let's not forget Clarence Avant.
So I was getting to that.
Oh, I thought you. Okay.
No, he's receiving the Ahmet Ertegun Award, Clarence Avant, Musical Excellence Award going to LL Cool J, Billy Preston, and Randy Rhoads, an Early Influence Award. With the exception of Gil Scott-Heron, Charlie Patton, and Kraftwerk. I only know of Gil Scott-Heron, so they are so early of an influence.
You know Kraftwerk, Trans Europe Express.
Got it. Okay. Got it. Okay. Yeah. Right. That's why you are a college of musical knowledge. What do you think of these people, Stephen Hill?
It's a great. It is very great and diverse class this year.
Very
so
cool.
glad that LL's gotten in. He's been nominated for a few times. He should have been a long time ago. Jay-Z rightfully got in on first ballot. Right. Mm-hmm. So the rule is you have to have, it's got to be 25 years. 25 years since your first release. Reasonable Doubt was 1996. If you do the math. If you do the math and carry the one.
The gazintas, yes.
Because it's,
yes. Look at you, math major.
Those of you who think Tina Turner should have been in there a long time ago, remember this is her second induction because she's also in there as part of Ike and Tina Turner, who were very early inductees to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. David Grohl of Foo Fighters is also going for his second time because he was as a drummer for Nirvana and then as the guitar player and leader, of course, of Foo Fighters, who I'm a fan of when it comes to the new kind of rock. You know what was new back in the early '90s. I'm for Foo Fighters. I am surprised they got in on first ballot as well. They've been carrying that certain type of rock torch for a moment, so I get that. But of course, and of course, Clarence Avant being in kind of means everything, right? As an executive who never had he had his own label Taboo, but really has been about making sure that African Americans have seats at tables and places behind in front of mics and really being a power broker. It speaks volumes that he's in. So that's a great one.
I so loved the documentary his daughter did. Was it? Yeah, it was Netflix. It was her
yes.
business. Yeah. And I just thought that was so wonderful. And it introduced him to generations of people who really weren't that hip to Clarence Avant and all that he had done, and still, just a really, really great story. His life story is so admirable, and all of that. Myra, do you have any thoughts on any of the folks going in?
And me, I'm not hip to everybody, but I'm happy for the Black people. That's all.
That's right. Pull out your Issa Rae. I'm cheering for everybody Black.
Exactly.
Cheering for everybody Black.
Everybody Black. That's right.
Everybody Black.
That's right.
And I'm cheering for dark-skinned white people. I'll be honest with you. I'm cheering for dark-skinned white people.
That's the kind of guy you are.
That's the kind of guy I am.
Is anybody surprised, concerned, hurt, happy, sad about Ellen DeGeneres saying that this is going to be the last season of the Ellen Show as of it's going to end next summer, 2022?
She's had a good run.
She's had a great run. You're right.
Yeah. So no, as they say, you know what? Get out before they put you out. Live on your own terms. Live on your own terms. So I'm happy for her.
Absolutely. Stephen, have you ever had any contact with Ellen DeGeneres?
Yes, it's so funny, but I can't think of. Oh, we always try to book her for the award show, and then but June was always the time she was on vacation, so we never were able to pull that off. But she had an awesome run. I thoroughly appreciate. You can talk about what happened behind the scenes at her show, and it may be true or not true, but one thing that is true is that she gave a lot of LGBTQI people. Not only not the strength to come out when she first came out. You got to remember, like Ellen DeGeneres being herself now is just seen as something like, oh, that happens every day. But when she first did it, it was a strength to a lot of them to be themselves and be their whole selves. And so for that, I will always give her a round of applause.
Give her applause. Yeah. And you know what? She, like you said, there are a lot of things. I always thought I think she has a very strange sense of humor. I don't like the way she was always trying to scare people and do stuff like that. But I've lived for all of the feel good moments on that show. Yeah. And especially for the Black people who were lauded and applauded on that show, the teachers, the nurses, all the frontline people, all of that, and kids who are out there doing great things. And she gave a lot to folks around the world. So I applaud her for that and for doing really good. And she says it's just not a challenge anymore. Who else is she going to sit down with but Oprah tomorrow to tell her story, to talk about the end of the show. And Stephen Hill, the last story that I want to talk about is Drake being named as Billboard's Artist of the Decade. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I don't think there's really any doubt about it. Is if you go through the 10s and the person who had the most streams, probably, I don't know if he had the most number ones, but the person who's been consistent since 2010 to 2020 is going to be Drake. And he's been consistent. He's changed the game in terms of he understood what streaming was early and realized that while people were putting out full-length albums, sometimes you just got to make sure that you're hot by being on people's remixes, putting out your own records. He has the record, and I don't know the number. Somebody here will look it up and tell me, but he has had more Billboard, I think, top 10 hits or number 1 hits. Maybe it's top 10 hits.
He's
than
been
anybody
9 Billboard 200 number 1s in the 2010s.
That's albums.
Okay.
Right? I think that's albums.
First leading with his debut in 2010 studio LP, Thank Me Later.
Right. Yeah. But in terms of singles, he's somewhere in the 200s, like him, and then the cast of Glee. Like everybody in the cast, everybody in the cast of Glee. So I think it's like 210. Somebody's gonna get me, but anyhow. So yes. Artist of the decade, kind of, it's got, if you're talking about streaming, and remember, Billboard's not about live performance. It's not about who had the most influence necessarily, because there could be some arguments that a young lady, a young woman who was an awesome person who just happens to be married to a new Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee could be that person if you take it all in. But with Billboard numbers. Who performed once on a Grammy stage with the person that is on Sybil's shirt.
Right.
But when it comes to numbers and albums and consistency and just numbers, it's Drake. It's Drake in a runaway.
Hands down. Do you have one for us? Do you have a comment for us? Oh, Stargazer 617. Did y'all talk about the verses? No, we did not. And that was on me. I had it on my list and it fell off. But Stephen Hill, can we still see the Steve's comments and
you can see the Steve's. The Steve's post show. Please go to my go to my Instagram. My Instagram, by the way, in case you don't follow, is at Stephen Grant Hill. Yes. Yeah, Stephen Grant Hill. Yeah. Steve Pam and Superstar Steve Pam and I do a recap after every verses. This was a fun one. This is one of those games where like the first half is like, what? No, what? And then the second half, everybody goes into the locker room and goes like, okay, we got to step this up.
Yeah.
And the second half of this verses was one of my more favorite ones. Look, in addition to the songs, these are women who could sing. And I, like you, everybody was like, we've heard about Tiny so much in the news, we forgot she could sing. We forgot she could sing.
Yeah.
Like she sang. So it was a lot of fun seeing and it was clear they wanted to be they're friends, and it was about each other supporting each other. Although it got a little testy. Got a little testy at certain points. A little testy. But I would like to believe that was the Ciroc talking as opposed to the
I think so. Yeah. And shout out to Spinderella too. It was good to see her on there. Yeah, man. Yeah. It is time for us to say a fond adieu. I hope that you guys have a great week. Stephen Hill, what do you have coming up this week? I have Shanta Brown saying it's time for Yogi's Jewels. And I am. Okay. This weekend on Sirius XM channel 48, 11 p.m. I get to talk to her. Grammy Award winning. Yeah, Oscar Award winning. And look, I've known her since she was 12 years old. Before she was chic. And when you talk about somebody, you see when you talk about somebody who was confident then and put the talent behind it and then put the work in, like you want her to win, and she is winning. And so we have a great conversation about everything from where her Oscar is to what her favorite amusement park ride is. So it's a wide ranging conversation. Nice. And good job with Keisha Cole. That was really good. Oh, that was fun. Thanks for listening. Yeah, that was really fun. Girl. Yeah, absolutely. Myra, what you got? Your loctician appointment. Actually tomorrow, but I have an announcement, but I can't make it till next week. But it's nice. It's nice.
It's what you call a tease, Sybil.
It is what you call a tease.
I thought you get to a certain age and you don't tease anymore. You're just like, look, we're gonna do this or not.
I've been calling you a tease for years, though.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have. Myra, did you hear that? She's been calling you a tease for years.
Oh no, I thought he was talking to you. Hell, there wasn't no tease, Stephen Hill. I was serious.
Oh, really?
Okay, come that 60th birthday party. Just you wait.
Okay, girl. Okay, girl.
It is time for Yogi's Jewels, and today the words of inspiration. Good energy fuels the mind and body. Inhale the good energy. Exhale the bad energy. Inhale good. Exhale bad. How's that? All right, you guys.
I feel like I should have been holding a blunt.
That would be the good energy right there.
Tomorrow, talk about good energy. Tomorrow, George Wallace is with us on Thursday, and the beautiful Kenny Lattimore is with him tomorrow. So please join us as we talk to Kenny Lattimore and his friend George Wallace. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one, and don't forget we